They are calling it the ultimate betrayal. They're saying they are being targeted by Donald Trump after supporting Donald Trump in the election. They are saying they are being harassed and threatened by the Trump administration, and they are shocked because they are some of the most reliable Trump voters. I'm talking about Venezuelans, specifically Venezuelans in Florida. Whether you're talking about Venezuelans in the city of Doral or elsewhere, there's over 300,000 Venezuelans that are in the Florida area, about 600,000 Venezuelans who are living in the United States who are subject to deportation right now as Donald Trump is revoking their temporary protected status or their TPS. Now, groups representing Venezuelans in the United States are outraged. They are speaking out about Donald Trump revoking the TPS. But it's not just TPS. Donald Trump has also sent one of his envoys to negotiate directly with Maduro, Nicolas Maduro, the brutal dictator of Venezuela, who the United States under the Biden administration did not recognize after the recent Venezuelan election where Maduro lost, but has held on to power as a brutal dictator. Donald Trump is now recognizing Maduro. And again, this follows Maduro also threatening to invade Puerto Rico. Donald Trump making alliances with Maduro, Russia, and others, essentially while harming America's interests abroad. I'd like to share this with you as well. Venezuelan Americans in South Florida reacting to Trump rescinding TPS. Let's play it.
Conference in Doral Monday, Venezuelan Americans denounced the Trump administration and South Florida Republicans.
More than betrayed. Beyond betrayed. They used us. They actually, during the campaign, and I don't want to make this political, but during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party, they actually told us that he was not going to touch the documented people.
Now, this right here is from WPLG, Local 10 in the area. Here we will hear more from the Venezuelan American Caucus reacting to Donald Trump's direct negotiations with Maduro, as well as the revocation of TPS. Let's play it.
His administration is reportedly ending temporary protected status for more than 300,000 Venezuelans. Local 10's Michaela Hightower is live in Doral with reaction from the Venezuelan community here in South Florida. Michaela.
Yeah, hi guys. A press conference with the Venezuelan American Caucus just wrapping up. The executive director of the caucus saying that the Venezuelan community firmly disagrees with this move by President Donald Trump, even going as far as to saying that they feel betrayed by the Trump administration. Now,
one of the things that the Trump administration is boasting about is taking Venezuelans who were here under protected status and Venezuelans who thought that Donald Trump was with them and with their community and sending them back to Maduro in Venezuela, which would likely result in their torture or even their death. But Donald Trump doesn't care. He's willing to kill his Venezuelan supporters like we warned you he was going to do. Let's play another clip from that WPLG Local 10 interview. Let's play it.
We have been finding pro bono psychologists, therapists, to talk to some of the people that is sending us DMs because we got really worried about what they were saying.
300,000 Venezuelans are said to be impacted in the U.S., but 30,000 of those alone live right here in Doral, where you'll find businesses like this popular convenience store, El Arepaso. Other cities with big populations like Kendall, Weston, and Orlando could also be hit, including the local economy.
There are people that don't feel safe anymore taking their children to schools. There are people going to notaries to sign documents to authorize some other adults with permanent status in the United States to take care of their children.
And folks, ICE is going after all Venezuelans, not just Venezuelans who are the criminals or the terrorists. As we said to you, President Biden was going after the criminals and the terrorists, okay? Donald Trump was just saying, oh, the criminals and the bad guys, we're just going after them. No, he was going after all of you, and that's exactly what is happening. peace-loving Venezuelans, people who are contributing to the economy in Florida and South Florida, people who, whether they're working as Uber drivers or in restaurants, in hospitality, in restaurants or elsewhere, Trump is attacking just people who are contributing to the community. Here, play this clip of an undocumented migrant who had ICE show up at their Coral Springs door, torturing their family. Let's play it.
Coral Springs community record as immigration agents stand outside a home Monday morning. Inside, Dante Lopez is consoling his son, clearly in distress, asking why does it have to be real?
I was in shock. What they hear?
Lopez speaking to us inside his home where he is praying they don't come back to take him away.
For me, it's
More on Venezuelans in South Florida reacting to Donald Trump revoking their TPS. Let's play it.
They are terrified. Most of the messages that we are receiving are saying that, for example, they don't want to get out of the house, even though they still have TPS and they still have their documents that haven't expired yet.
Aradis Farrow is the executive director of the Venezuelan American Caucus. She says Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro's dictatorship is worse than it's ever been. And she says President Trump's decision isn't just targeting violent criminals.
They decided to abandon the only people that actually decided to go legal, ask for a work permit, pay for a work permit, pay taxes, formally speaking, and legally try to have a life in the United States. They are not criminals. In order for you to get TPS, you get a background check, a very, very thoroughly background check.
We asked both Farrow and Lagos if they feel like the Trump administration is singling out the Venezuelan community.
Yes, I feel that it's not fair. The decision that he's making is taking apart families.
Yes. When they need us, they use us, and they use our pain and our crisis to get the votes that they need for political gain.
And look, folks, in places like the city of Doral with the large Venezuelan and Cuban population, they are so MAGA. They are so pro-Trump. You got people like Councilman Pinheiro who would brag about the Venezuelans in Florida who love Trump and could help him. This is the type of stuff that they would post. You've got people like the mayor of the city of Doral, Christy Fraga, for example, taking photos with Donald Trump. I mean, you don't get more Trumpy than some of these council members, and also the Venezuelan and Cuban community there who bought into all of Donald Trump's lies, who bought into all of Donald Trump's propaganda. Donald Trump was their Maduro. Donald Trump is their Castro. Donald Trump is the strong man or the wannabe strong man, because he's actually quite weak and pathetic. He's the type of person who you fled to have a better life in the United States of America, yet you fell for the propaganda that's used by the tyrants like the Castros and the Maduros and the Kim Jong-uns and the Putins and people like that. You fell for the exact trap that you fled. It's unbelievable. So this is Councilman Pinheiro's letter to Donald Trump. To President Donald Trump. As a Venezuelan immigrant who has personally experienced the devastating effects of authoritarian rule, I stand firmly with the Venezuelan people who have sought refuge in the United States, including in the vibrant community of Doral. Like many of my fellow countrymen, I fled the nation torn apart by the tyranny of Chavez Maduro in search of the safety of liberty, opportunities that this great country has to offer. The crisis in Venezuela has grown catastrophic, fueled by a regime marked by repression, violence, and corruption. Basic human rights have been stripped away. Inflation has reached staggering levels, and millions have been forced to flee their homeland. It is crucial to remember that the overwhelming majority of Venezuelans under temporary protected status are not part of the criminal networks. We are everyday people dedicated to our families, our work, and our new communities. We fled Venezuela not to bring problems to the U.S., but to escape a failed state that offered nothing but fear and hopelessness. Well, Councilman Rafael Pinheiro, you picked Maduro of America. You picked a guy like Trump who uses those same tactics. You were his biggest cheerleader for all of these years, and you were bragging about, I love Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump. Okay. Well, how could he hit you harder than literally your very existence? Well, I support all of his other policies, but when it comes to the way he feels about my existence, I have some debate. He hates you. He hates you. Just look in the mirror and say after me, Donald Trump hates me. Because he hates you. He hates Venezuelans. He hates Cuban. He hates brown people. He hates black people. He has his entire life. All the evidence was in front of you, and you picked this orange mutant. You ridiculous person, you. Same thing with Christy Fraga, the city of Doral mayor. And she goes, since the administration decided to roll back the previous 18-month extension of temporary protected status for Venezuelans, we look to your leadership in crafting a responsible and effective solution that protects both American interest and the thousands of Venezuelans who sought refuge in the U.S. legally under policies offered by our own government. As the mayor of the city of Doral, home to one of the largest Venezuelan communities in the U.S., I have personally witnessed these families have contributed to our local economy and society. As mayor, I'm receiving a flood of concerns from families who relied on the legal protections afforded to them and now face an uncertain future. Many arrived legally in exile from a totalitarian regime hostile to the U.S. and have used TPS as a means to maintain their status in accordance with U.S. immigration laws. These Venezuelan exiles have respected our laws, worked hard, paid taxes, educated their children in our schools, and integrated into our nation's communities. These Venezuelan exiles are not illegal immigrants, nor are they criminals we all agree should be removed from our country. They are business owners, students, teachers, professionals, and workers who have played a role in the prosperity of cities like Doral. So now you're probably like, oh, so she's tough, right? Look at this next paragraph. I commend President Trump's unwavering commitment to protecting American families and ensuring our immigration system is not abused. I wholeheartedly support Trump's firm stance on border security and his commitment to removing those who exploit our immigration system. Pause. Trump killed the bipartisan immigration bill because he's not interested in border security. He's interested in being a racist prick. He's interested in attacking you. Again, maybe you need to look in the mirror, Christy Fraga, and repeat after me. Donald Trump hates me because he hates you. That's why. Because you're Venezuelan. He doesn't like people who are black and brown in this country. Isn't it obvious by all of his actions, his entire damn life? Now, Fraga, you are part of the problem. So when you look your constituents in the face, I want you to tell them exactly what you did when you stand by Donald Trump and you go to Mar-a-Lago or you go to his resorts in Doral. And I'm sure you probably use city money to help Donald Trump's bank account, help him get richer as well. And you take those photos with him. I want to know what you're telling your constituents as well. That's what I would like to see as you take photos with him like that. Utterly ridiculous. Oh, maybe show your constituents this. Caroline Leavitt announcing that today, the first flights from the United States, we're taking Venezuelans to Guantanamo Bay. You've earned your constituents a trip to concentration camps because of you. And maybe they go back to Venezuela and get killed by the dictator over there. You fled the dictator and brought a freaking dictator here into our country, your country. You brought your dictators here. What are you doing? It's ridiculous. And I'm not saying it's all Venezuelans. There are smart Venezuelans who knew this was crap. There are smart Cubans who knew this was crap. There are a ton of Mexicans who knew this was crap. My wife's Mexican. My daughter's half Mexican. My family's terrified now because of this crap. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.